actually graduating. I can't believe it. My 2 years at Arborbrook have gone by so quickly.
I feel the same way.
I can't believe it either, especially since I've spent half of my life at Arborbrook.
I've been here since the 7th grade. Unreal to think that I'm leaving. Freshman year, the buck stops here.
Mary Kate, what do you remember from our freshman year?
One of my very first memories from high school was when the school's air conditioning caught on fire at the very end of the day, and only the second week of school, which meant we got to leave early for Whistler Mountain.
And that was the year we lost your glasses while jumping off a rock into the river on Whistler Mountain.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Do you remember Chrissy's prank?
Yes, she was staying in her cabin, and one night she slipped out quietly so that no one noticed she was gone. The next thing we knew, someone was knocking on our cabin window wearing a mask. At first we all freaked out, and then someone realized that it was Chrissy. When we let her in, she told us that she'd gone to scare the boys in their cabin, but they were all asleep. The next day at breakfast, though, the boys told us that someone had opened their cabin door, and they were so scared and none of them moved.
That was so funny. Her prank worked perfectly. Well, after we got back from that fun weekend at Whistler Mountain, we got our first Spanish or worldview test back, which was not fun.
Everyone failed.
We quickly learned that studying would be necessary in high school. One of my favorite memories from that year was when we raised almost $1,000 for Carter Cummings, who had cancer and was the son of our worldview teacher.
It was so cool to see how the whole school came together to help. Even though the free dress day only cost $1, I remember kids pouring their whole piggy banks into the collecting basket.
I remember when we presented the handmade check to our classmate to Mr. Cummings.
That was an awesome day.
This was also the first year we had May term.
And it was 2 weeks that year. The first week I went with a lot of other students to Washington, D.C. on an educational trip. And the second week of May term, we participated in Spanish camp.
A group of us planned and executed an entire Spanish camp for the lower school children.
That was a lot of work, but such a great way to end the year. Sophomore year, clear as mud.
And sophomore year was just as fun.
We went to Whistler Mountain again at the very start of the year, which made it easy to jump right from summer into the school year.
We had some great classes that year. Art was my favorite class. We enhanced our sketching skills, and I learned a little bit about painting.
In science class, while learning about osmosis, we put an egg in pond water and left it there for a very long time. When we unsealed it, the entire school had to evacuate the building because of the stench.
Do you remember sitting around the fire pit writing short stories with Mrs. Wilson?
Yeah, I do. That was a lot of fun. On top of great classes, the basketball games that year were awesome. Our fan base was incredible. Other teams knew that when Arborbrook came, most of the school showed up, including many lower school families who didn't have students on the teams. It was a really big deal if you didn't attend a basketball game that year.
Remember when our guys beat Central?
Yes, you could feel the tension in the gym. Everyone was standing up, cheering the team on. We all went wild when they won. It was so cool to see how our school came together to support our athletes.
Unfortunately, the year ended in an act of vandalism that was hurtful to our school and cost a lot of money.
Although we were really upset this happened, it didn't tear us apart. It brought us closer together. We also learned how to be flexible since we ended up with having a few classes outside and a few inside the sanctuary.
This was a very memorable way to end the school year, and even enjoyable despite the vandalism. Someone did that act to harm us, but God used it for his good.
Junior year, the year of new things.
Our junior year was in the year of new things.
We had a new building,
New teachers,
and Mackenzie joined our class.
And on the first day of school, the fire alarm went off. It wasn't a drill.
Miss Zhang burnt her cookie in the microwave.
We went back to Whistler Mountain that year, our third trip to that camp in the mountains.
remember when we packed 13 people in Mrs. Coe's car on the drive to our hiking spot? It's a big car, but
Yes, and the boys' car in front of us, Trey popped his head out of the sunroof, and the boys put their legs out the back windows.
I was in that car and Trey's legs started cramping, but he couldn't move.
for the rest of the trip, our chaperones kept a close eye on us to make sure we didn't do anything else dangerous.
After we finally got started on our hike, several people got stung by bees. Then one of the camp leaders decided to cross the creek because he said he wouldn't get stung by them. And guess what? He got stung. I will never forget what he looked like
It was awesome though, to really be able to bond as a school, especially since there were so many new people at the school that year.
Remember our first homecoming party at Becca's house?
Oh yeah, we played sardines. It was so much fun because we went to a closet, there was another closet within that closet, and then there was a trap door that led to an attic.
Mitch and I found that hiding spot, and then everyone crammed in with us.
It was a great place to hide, but no one could find us, and it got really cold.
And later that night, all the girls piled into Tiffany's car to hide. I remember being really cramped in the front seat.
That was a really fun party.
Remember chemistry class, Bailey?
Yeah, I really enjoyed our chemistry class that year. I still have my notebook. I didn't realize how much we were learning until we sat in on a college chemistry class during a weekend visit at Liberty, and I realized I knew exactly what the professor was talking about.
And this was the year we had prom on the boat. It was very exciting for all of us, but we did encounter a couple of problems.
It's hard to dance on the boat.
And if someone got a little seasick, there was only one bathroom.
I really loved Lake Norman though. Plus, not everyone gets to have prom on a boat.
That is true. Also, this was the first year we started the Arborbrook tradition of going to Waffle House after prom. Well, I'm not sure if it's a tradition yet, but it was a lot of fun.
Over May term, we all went on a mission trip to the inner city of Fort Wayne, Indiana, where we worked with a local church there that helps homeless people and under-resourced families.
That was a great trip. I remember we helped bring mattresses to this lady named Lisa in one of the neighborhoods. She and her husband have been sleeping on the ground in their house for quite some time.
It was so cool to see the people so happy to have grocery bags full of food. Many of them were shocked that we weren't asking them for anything in return. This was something they really needed.
I was surprised when one guy said he didn't need the free food we were offering, but told us to give it to someone who needed it more.
One evening, we went to minister to the people in a local park, and we got to talk to some of them. One man was named James. We were able to pray over him and give him a Bible. I will never forget that experience.
Remember IHOP, anyone?
Oh yeah, Trey, Forrest, and Matthew made a nasty-looking concoction out of random drinks and food on their table.
And when you all left the restaurant to go back to the hotel, they put the drink on our table and jokingly told us to drink it.
After they left, we decided it would be funny to tell them that one of us drank it accidentally and got sick.
Yeah, Bailey came to our door later and told us that Carteret drank the mixture. And we were all shocked, but couldn't believe that anyone would drink that.
Even Carteret's mom was in on the joke, which made it very rude.
That night at teen time, Matthew and Forrest got down on their knees and begged for Carteret's forgiveness.
That's when we told them it was a joke.
We were all laughing, but the boys were shocked. They started laughing too, but only out of relief.
And Trey started yelling, "I knew it," but everyone knew he had been fooled.
I think they learned their lesson.
That was a great way to end that year, and it only got better because we were now seniors and had free dress.
Senior year, live like no one else.
I was really excited about our senior privileges this year, especially the free dress.
And we were also so excited about the coffee machine we could use, even though none of us really like coffee.
This year we did not go to Whisker Mountain. As a school. We went to Windy Gap instead.
At Windy Gap, the water in the lake was really cold. Remember in Titanic when Jack explains to Rose that when you hit the water, it felt like 1,000 daggers piercing your skin? That's what it felt like.
The stargazing on the mountain was amazing.
All of us brought out blankets to the hills and looked at the stars.
So much fun, but after the trip, we were all very tired.
This year, Student Council planned the first official homecoming party at a clubhouse in a nearby neighborhood where one of our families lived. When we went to open up the clubhouse, we forgot there was an alarm and we didn't have the password with us. It rang for 30 minutes while we went to get the password.
Arborbrook has a very alarming history.
Anyway, most of the alumni showed up.
Anna's whistles were really good.
And the next day, I remember that at the homecoming game, I wore this really great outfit. I was wearing my black high-waisted pants and they were rolled at the bottom. I was wearing my blue and green freaky shirt with the sleeves rolled. The front was tucked and the back was loose. I was wearing my more constant cream Oxford and I was wearing my brown hat with my hair braided to the side.
Nick, what were you wearing that night?
I was wearing clothes.
And this year, in our anatomy and physiology class, we decided that some of the pictures of the cells under the microscope were pretty enough to be framed art.
And Student Council got to help plan prom again. This year we had it in a barn. It was a cute barn though, and it didn't sway around.
It was the best prom yet.
Remember finance, anyone? When you live like no one else, you can live live like no one else.
When I get a car, I'll buy a Daco.
Basically, that's a reliable used car.
And we'll pay off our college debt with the debt snowball.
You know what? Our entire senior class is in the honor society.
That doesn't happen very often.
I feel like it's all wrong.
This year, we all had to learn how to balance school and work since all of us have jobs. I think we figured it out though.
Considering we are all graduating and going into the real world of college, jobs, and responsibilities, I hope we're starting to figure it out.
Well, next year I'll be in Winston-Salem at Bridges Christian College.
And I'll be in the honor school at UNCG.
Mackenzie, what are you doing next year?
I'm going to be taking classes at CPCC and work full-time.
That's great. I'll be working too and getting my nursing assistant certification before going to college the following